بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. To all those who are saying salams in the chat, and assalamu alaikum to those who are joining us and who might see this recording later on. And I am so excited to be back. It's been a while, alhamdulillah. And I'm thrilled, guys, to be here with you guys so that we can go on with our studies of this book and trying to understand what Dr. Fadil Saleh Samir Ra'i is trying to tell us in his amazing, amazing book. It's nice to hear you guys as well. I hope I'm going to hear your voices. Um, and remember, guys, it's been a month, so I am a bit rustic with qawaid. We weren't doing a lot of qawaids. Maybe I'm a bit rustic. I don't know. We'll see, inshallah khair. So feel free to correct me as always. I am just a student like you guys. I make so many mistakes. So please feel free to correct me, to stop me, to ask as many questions as possible, so that we can reap the most benefit out of this text and also improve our qawaid and our language and our understanding of the Quran, most importantly. All right, so before we begin, because it's been a while, it's been a month. I don't know if you guys have been watching the videos or if you haven't, like myself. Um, so we're just gonna do a simple review of what this book is all about. So when we started, we read the introduction of Dr. Fadil, and he mentioned like when he had people talking about how miraculous the Quran is, he was a bit skeptical about it. Uh, guys, give me a second. Okay, so yeah, before that a short interruption, I was actually saying that maybe we need to look at the summary of what we have done so far. So when we began, we read the introduction, and Dr. Fadil was telling us that when he approached this material, at first he was a bit of a skeptical about how, the Quran is miraculous and whatnot. And being a grammarian himself, he decided to embark on that journey to prove or to uncover uh, how the Quran is miraculous. And this book is basically his findings. And he is not expecting us to believe in his findings. That's what he said in his introduction. He's not trying to convince us, but he's hopeful that once we go through this material that he's presenting, we will realize that there's no other conclusion other than the fact that the Quran is truly miraculous in just its wording. Like it's such a miraculous book. So that's how we started. And he started to present different evidences for this fact. He started with how the Arabs were amazed by it. I mean, can you imagine the Arabs themselves were amazed by it? So that means this book is not ordinary. And then he talked about Huruf Mukhatta'at. I hope you remember that discussion where he mentioned, if you look at a surah that begins with Alif Lam Ra, for example, you're going to find this Ra all over the place, more than any other surah, and so on and so forth. And then he presented and he said there's actually more evidence to that. It's not just about the Huruf Mukhatta'at, the beginnings and what is contained in the surah, but also the number of, for example, I don't know where it was, where he started talking about here. So he started talking about, for example, dunya is mentioned the same number as akhirah, and malaika is mentioned the same number as shaitan, maut, and haya, and so on and so forth, and all these different things. Okay, so he presented that as an argument. And then he also went off on a tangent, started talking about jamu' qilla, jamu' kathra, where he discussed what is it called? Jamu' mu'annas salim, when it's muslimatin, jamu' mu'annas salim, it means fewer. And when it's jamu taksir, it actually means more. So that was a tangent that he went off on that discussion. Rimahu, this is where he discussed that, rimahu takassarat, takassarna, there. He talks about pronouns as well. And yeah, so finally, where we left off, he was like, وَمَنْ يَدْرِي مَاذَا سَيُجَدُّ بَعْدُ? Who knows what's going to be invented after in the studies of Quran? What are people going to find out from its miraculous nature and whatnot? Yeah, so that's kind of like where we left off. And now he's going to present another argument. So that's where we begin. from. So where we begin is he's going to present another argument like similarly what he has presented before. And I hope that's clear. All right. So with that summary, we can begin our studies, inshallah. Whoever wants to participate, you know the drill. You can raise your hand. I'm gonna try and make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So we have Saima, we have Fauzia, and we have Sultana in that order. Let's see. I made it too big. Did I? Yes, too big. Okay. I think that's good enough. Okay. So we'll start with, who's this? We start with Saima, and then Fauzia, and then Sultana. Let's see. Maybe Saima, you can do, how big is this section? Because most of it is, the last part is pretty much the ayah of the Quran. So Saima, you can do up to that point. Fauzia, you can do that up to there, and then Sultana can finish for us the rest. If we have more time, we'll do some more.
الرحيم إن القرآن له خصوصيات في استعمال الألفاظ. So إن حرف نصب، القرآن اسم مفعول له متعلق بالخبر إن خصوصيات خبر إن في استعمال الألفاظ. So استعمال الألفاظ مضاف إليه في جار مجرور. And again this is متعلق بالخبر.
How did you say how did you do the i'rab of خصوصيات?
The خبر of إن.
So you're saying it's له خصوصيات.
The خبر should be نصب. Why?
Oh, so no, it should be Rafa. You're right. Sorry, I'm confused. Clearly, yeah. Okay, but so you're saying this is the khabar of that.
Yeah, in Al-Quran is the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it. But what would be the meaning? If you look at it as this is mubtada and this is khabar. How would you?
So Quran has with lahu added that possessive. The Quran
so
has
with lahu
reality topic and practice.
Okay, so that's how you translated it, but you did the i'rab in a way that doesn't make sense, because if we're to remove this and say lahu comes later, and then you do mubtada khabar, you say inna al-Qur'ana khususiyatun. If you were to translate that mubtada khabar, you would say indeed the Quran, how would you put an invisible is? No, when you're doing mubtada khabar, what do? You put an invisible is. So you see that doesn't make sense if you say khususiyat is the khabar of inna. Right? That's how we do it, right?
I'm so rusty right now. The rest is all over me. I'm not getting it.
Okay, you're right that it is rafa. So this is khususiyatun. But is khususiyatun the khabar of inna, or is it something else?
So we have already got one mubtada. That is in the Quran. That is correct, right?
Yes, this part is correct.
That is a It looks like to me a new sentence. Khususiyat is a book. And lahu is not of in the Quran. That's how I see it.
Right. So this whole thing is the khabar of inna. But inside that khabar of inna is a new sentence.
That's why I was confused. Why two like mutaliks?
It's like the construction we have, li qalamun. it is that
Yes.
kind of construction.
Yeah.
Am I right,
I was
Sister Ilham?
translating it that way,
Yes.
but that was not right.
Yeah.
Actually, Sister Ilham, it couldn't be like Innal Qur'ana. Indeed, the Quran, it has khususiyat and it has the speciality. So this can't be a
Exactly.
badal of this one.
No, there's no badal. You just said it in Al-Qur'ana, it has. So instead of saying it has, repeating the it, so you see you're repeating the it. So you just say the Quran has. Skip
Mhm.
the it. Indeed, the Quran has khususiyat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's basically the structure. So khususiyat would be the mubtada, because you can see it's light, it's nakira. Sorry, not light, it's nakira. It doesn't have al on it. Yeah, and it comes after jar majroor, which makes it a mubtada. So that's a very common construction. And therefore, في استعمال الأفعال is the متعلق بالخبر to this خصوصيات, to this مبتدا. And the whole thing then becomes the خبر of إن. Right?
Sister
Can
Ilham,
you do that one more time?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do it one more
Can you do
time.
that one more time? Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
khususiyat is a masdar, na, sister? Khususiyatun? It's
Yes.
masdar?
Yes.
So normally in the masdar we consider it has a file, and fi istamal al alfaz, it acts as a fi'l. The masdar itself will act as a fi'l, and fi istamal al alfaz, this whole will be mutalik bil fi'l. Is it
Which
in this
fi'al?
way?
No, there's no fi'al. You only say
Khususiyat
متعلق
masdar?
بالفعل. Yeah, it's a masdar, it's an ism. It's a mubtada. You have a mubtada. You don't need to make it into a fi'al. It's already a mubtada. It's a jumla ismiya. You don't need to make it into a jumla fi'aliya when it's already a jumla ismiya. Right?
Ji.
Yeah. So don't confuse
Yeah.
yourself. Guys, keep things simple. Don't complicate things. If it's a jumla ismiya, it's a jumla ismiya. If it's a jumla fi'aliya, it's a jumla fi'aliya. Okay? How do you translate khususiyat? Specialization, distinctions, specifics, things like that. Yeah. Okay.
Sister,
So
one more time.
Uh-huh. So I'm
This
gonna
thing, please.
go on, ask before I explain one more time.
Yeah. So I was going to ask, like, what should be the giveaway factor that what I was doing, like taking it as a khabar of inna. So while translating it, the is was not fitting. That's how I should come to know, no, this is not the khabar, and this whole structure is the khabar of inna in al Qur'ana.
Exactly. The meaning should come across, because if you're saying that this is the mubtada and this is the khabar, then they have to put an invisible is in between, and it has is that the meaning that is being said? You ask yourself, because you translated it correctly, but your i'rab was wrong. Yeah. So if you do the i'rab, also translate it correctly, and see, like if I say inna al-Qur'ana, indeed the Quran is specializations, is specifications, is it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
But we
Lahu
know
is-
that lahu, yeah. So that's kind of like how you figure things out. Okay. Let me do it one more time for those. So thumma, we know what thumma is. Harf ataf. We put it aside. La mahalla laha min al-i'rab, because it's a harf. Then we come to inna. We know this is ism inna, and it has to have a victim. So inna al-Qur'ana, that becomes our mubtada. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now I know that I have to look for a khabar. But when I look at what's coming next, I see a jar majroor. Now the first thing, when you see a jar majroor, this is very important. When you see a jar majroor, it's going to be a muta'alliq to something. Do not feel that blank yet. Do not be, oh, because I have a mubtada, then automatically muta'alliq bil khabar. Don't do that. Just say, this is my muta'alliq. I'm going to put it aside and see what's happening next. Okay? And then I see khususiyat, and I have to ask myself, what is this doing here? So either if I say that this lahu is a muta'alliq bil khabar of inna, then this is going to be my khabar. Okay? That's one way. If I say that, then what would be the meaning? If I say that, what would be the meaning? It is as if I say lahu can come later, because lahu jar majrur can come later. And then I try to translate it. Inna al-Qur'ana khususiyatun lahu. The Quran is specialization for it, doesn't, or specifics for it, doesn't make sense. So then I pause and I ask myself, okay, what else could be going on here? Then I remember that, long time ago, we learned this Jumla Ismiya structure. When we were learning Jumla Ismiya, we learned a Jumla Ismiya structure where you have a jar majroor at the beginning and a mubtada coming after it. And the mubtada is nakira. The mubtada doesn't have al on it. This looks pretty much like that. Like Samia said, li qalamun, I have a pen. Lahu khususiyatun. Sounds like that. Then I can say, okay, maybe this is a new sentence. Okay, now if this is a new sentence, where does it end? So I have a jar majroor here, lahu. Then I have my mubtada here because it's nakira and it has tanween on it. It's rafa because it's my mubtada. Then you have fi isti'mali al-alfadhi. Of course, now this becomes my muta'alliq bi khususiyat. Bi khabar that is mahduf in this case because there's no khabar. And that whole thing then becomes my khabar to in. Right? Yes, متعلق بالخبر مقدم. Yeah. That is what we learned about lahu. Lahu. And you remember, just as a reminder, if we had al on it, then you'd have a special meaning, a takhsis happening. So it would be like lahu al-khusus. It only has, you have the meaning of only. So that's kind of like a discussion we had a while back of that structure. Is that clear?
Yes, clear. I have one question.
Yes.
Is there any way that the fi istimal al-alfazi could have been a mutallaq to Qur'ana? Is
No.
that a possibility?
Because again, you come back to the meaning. Okay. So you have to ask yourself, this structure here, either way, it's a muta'alliq bil khabar. It has to be a muta'alliq bil khabar. But there's no khabar in this structure, so the khabar is mahduf. So it has specializations or specifications or specifics in what? In the way it uses the alfaz. So if you say it goes back to inna al-Qur'ana, it can still go back to inna al-Qur'ana depending on what the khabar is, because the khabar is mahduf. So this part, but I think it's muta'alliq to khususiyat because you can say that the khabar is mawjud, for example. له خصوصيات موجود في استعمال الألفاظ. It has specifics or specifications or specializations or distinctions present in the way it uses words. So this, in the way it uses words, is just explaining the khabar. That it has, the Quran has in it, موجود فيه, present in it, what? Specific ways in which it uses words. I hope that. Can't lahu be second mubtada? Lahu. Lahu. What kind of a structure is lahu? Lahu is a jar majroor. It will never be a mubtada. Lahu will always be jar majroor muta'alliq to something. When you see a harf jar, I mean, it could be maybe a sifa if you're looking at complex sifa. It could be a hal if you're looking at complex hal, like a hal structure. But it can never be a mubtada. Lahu can never be a mubtada. Even when it comes with an ism istifham, for example. I don't want to open a discussion on ism istifham again, by the way. I'm just giving you an example. Even when a harf jar comes with an ism istifham, the harf of istifham, for example, man, if I say liman hadha al-kitab, that liman, that man is no longer a mubtada, is going to be jar majrur muta'alliq. So whenever you see harf of jar, yeah, no questions about questions. Yeah, whenever you see harf of jar muta'alliq, that's, yeah. Unless you are sure that it's either a sifa or a hal or one of those complex structures where you can have a jar majrur as a complex, or it can be na'ibul fa'il. We know that jar majrur can also be na'ibul fa'il and so on and so forth. Or it could, yeah, maybe like a maf'ul bihi or something like that. But most of the time, it's going to be متعلق. خبر of خصوصيات is محذوف, right? Yes, خبر of خصوصيات is محذوف, and we can maybe, if we are to use the word موجود, for example, we can understand it better. Like, for example, له خصوصيات موجود في استعمال الألفاظ. It has specifications or present in the way it uses words. Any questions there? Okay, looks like we're good. Alhamdulillah. Okay, Saima, you can continue.
فقد اختص كثيرا من الألفاظ باستعمالات خاصة به مما يدل على القصد الواضح في التعبير. So فا is the حرف، قد إذا كنت تحقيق حرف، اختص is فعل ماضي، هو inside, I think it's going back to the Quran. Now كثيرا and من الألفاظ. These three words were confusing me.
Okay.
Like كثيرا, which should I take it as a maf'ul or the hal? I don't know. And min al alfazi is also looking like to me like a maf'ul. Actually, this word ikhtassa, this fail, its meaning, I'm finding it very difficult because it comes with B and it is like mutaaddi. So
The
I
biggest,
was
yeah.
very confused with like this. Yeah, B. And then again, there is a B over here, bihi. So I
Yes.
was confused, like this ikhtassa, this B is with this is bistimali or this bihi.
Okay, so let's break it down. باستعمالة خاصة به. Okay, also this one is متعلق, one is basically it comes with اختص. اختص به, this specified, or I don't want to say distinguished because distinguished is a little bit different. We can say specified. Okay. Okay, so let's break it down. It's مطلق. Yes, مفعول مطلق. Yes, 100%. This is what I was waiting for. Is من بينة, I think من بينة, I think من الفات. I didn't understand that. Okay, so فقد يختص. فقد, we know, we understand what فقد is. فا حرف عطف. Then قد حرف التحقيق. Yeah, set apart. You can also say set apart. Okay. فقد اختص كثيرا. Whenever you see كثيرا or قليلا, most of the time this word is going to be a مفعول مطلق. And Fawzia, you remember you said كثر كثيرا, I think. I don't remember very well, but yeah, I think we covered this a while back. So اختص, it's نائب مفعول مطلق to a فعل that is محذوف. That's how you understand this. But you can just get away with saying this is a مفعول مطلق. You can just say that. No need to complicate and say it's a نائب مفعول مطلق because the فعل is محذوف. Because remember, when we were talking about مفعول مطلق, we say, for example, ضرب ضربا. We repeat the same فعل in a masdar form, right? ضرب ضربا. So the ضربا would be a مفعول مطلق which adds emphasis, right? So whenever the فعل is present, then the مفعول becomes مفعول مطلق of the same verb. But if the verb is not present, and then you have a masdar that is nasab, then how do you do the i'rab? Some grammarians say that you classify it as نائب مفعول مطلق. كثيرا, قليلا, this is what happens with this word. So we'll say this is a مفعول مطلق or نائب مفعول مطلق. Now, here's the thing. من الألفاظ. Now, min, what kind of min do you think this is?
زائدة.
Looks like min
Yes.
bayana.
This is min zaida.
Min
Because I can
zaida.
remove it.
Okay.
I can remove it and
Okay.
اختص كثيرا كثير الألفاظ. I can say that. كثير الألفاظ. Now this becomes كثير because now it's going to be the dua of اختص. So what's happening here is this min al-alfad actually is the outside dua of اختص. So we won't say min, we can say it's jar majroor, but we will say that at the end of the day, this is the fa'il of اختص. So most of the alfaz have specified باستعمالات خاصة with a specific utilization, if you will, به. What is the who going back to?
Quran.
Yeah. No, wait. فقد اختص كثيرا من
No,
الألفاظ.
I don't
No,
think
it
this is
doesn't go to the
file.
Quran.
Also, I think Quran is the file. And what is Quran setting apart? It sets apart a lot of word by means of special usage, right? So this is what he is talking about. Because if you say the alfaz is the file, then it should be like these words were, like it should be passive, right?
Not really.
But we don't see a passive word, neither do we see a feminine word. It should be ittasat, or rather uftisat.
What? But then you have, it's a jar majroor, you have min al-alfaz.
No?
Because it's jar majroor, min al-alfaz.
And min al-alfaz, why can't we take it as min bayana? Bayana, like it's explaining kasiran in what? Kasiran in terms of words.
Yeah, you can look at it as well as min bayaniya.
Because it's clarifying, right? It's clarifying. Kasiran, like what? Many in what? Many in terms of the words. And that's how I took it, but
Okay.
you know
Let me-
better.
No, I actually don't. I actually don't, and it's been a while, so I don't know. فقد اختص كثيرا من الألفاظ. I actually
How did you?
no,
I think first let's translate this sentence, and then I think we'll be able to make more sense out of it. If you can translate, I think it will help us.
no, I actually think it is the fa'il. Okay, no problem, Saliha, it's fine. Because what is doing the ikhtassa? Because again, we have to look at this word ikhtassa. Is it lazim or is it mutaaddi? Because if you say it is, your explanation would have to make this word mutaaddi. And I don't think it is mutaaddi. I have to check that. I'm not so sure. Because اضطرب family, most of the time it is lazim. So because if it is lazim, then you can't make ikhtassa mutaaddi. And I think in that sense.
Yeah, so when you say
No, but
lazim,
it
when
is
I said
not acting.
mutaaddi.
It is not
the
acting
beginning.
like a maf'ul. So it is not acting like a maf'ul. It is a clarification of qasidan, right? So even if it is lazim, it's not acting like a maf'ul.
Yeah.
Why are we considering as a maf'ul? All right, if we take it as, okay, as you suggest, as a file, then how would you really translate the sentence? Maybe
The words, they did the ikhtisas. It's the words that are doing the ikhtisas. But I'm not.
that doing the qisas, or Quran that is
But sister,
making.
alfaz is like broken plural, and ikhtassa is like huwa.
Yeah, I mean it's not feminine, and
It doesn't have to be. What? It doesn't have
should
to
be
be feminine.
passive. Well,
It doesn't have to be passive. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
feminine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that the alfaz can really do the iqtasa themselves, or the Quran is making them do so? So if the Quran is making them do so, then it should be passive also. I know my mind is going haywire. So I just took it as a simple sentence, like iqtasa, okay, going back to Quran. So Quran sets apart a lot from the words by their special usage. This is how I translated the sentence.
Because the thing is, ikhtassa, it means to be distinguished, to be specified. So what was being specified? The words. It doesn't mean to set apart. It's not a muta'addi. You understand what I'm saying? Like it doesn't do something apart. So the way you're doing it, you're saying the Quran set apart, which meaning the translation is not there. What is actually being said is that the words have been distinguished in what way? باستعمالات خاصة in a specific usage in it, به, or with it, the Quran. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can even say it's passive. I don't have a problem. You can even say فقد اختص باستعمالات خاصة.
If you take it as
I know that the discussion of lazim and muta'addi really confuses a lot of people, and it makes the meaning
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I will confirm because I think I had this discussion with BUG. I'm not so sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But because it is
Okay.
passive, it is giving me. Maybe let's pause this. I'm gonna go back to my emails and see if yeah,
Inshallah.
inshallah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will, or I could just do it right now. I don't know because let's see if I can find it. But meanwhile, we can continue and see.
Yeah, we can think about it later on. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this so if we put it like this, ikhtassa, like I'm eliminating the everything which is confusing me. So ikhtassa, this by the special usage of what? Minal alfazi, of the words bihi, in it.
In it.
Mimma, and among that, then my points towards.
Okay, my internet is really bad. I don't know what's happening. Can you still see my screen? Okay.
Yes,
Can you
yes,
guys hear
we
me?
can.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna
Yes,
put a
yes,
pin
we
on
do.
this. Okay, I'm gonna put a pin on this.
Okay.
I will check my notes and
Okay.
because I have a feeling like I discussed this somewhere. Anyway, so then we can continue. And
Inshallah.
tomorrow, inshallah, I would have clear information on this.
Okay. One question, Sister Alam. What is this bihi? What is this he going to?
فقد اختص كثيرا من الألفاظ باستعمالات خاصة به. It's going back to من الألفاظ. Is going back to wait.
Minal
Quran.
pronoun. No, it can't be pronoun. What is it? Quran? Oh, is it Quran?
I don't think it is Quran.
Oh. Yeah.
I think it's going
So
back to من الألفاظ.
It
كثيرا من الألفاظ.
I
Going back
was
to كثير.
thinking, well, what is this he? What is this he? If it is going to alfaz, it should be biha.
Not really. Again,
So should it
it's
be
كثيرا.
biha?
Look,
feminine
it's
ancestor.
كثيرا من
If it is
الألفاظ.
alfaz,
It's كثيرا من الألفاظ. It's not كثيرة من الألفاظ.
Yeah.
You understand?
that's-
Oh, my internet is really bad. I don't
Okay.
know if you
So
guys
is it
can
going
hear
to
me.
Kasir?
I think so, yeah. I think so. But I will confirm.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. I've not been listening, but I just listened for the last 1 minute. Don't the verse like don't the verse
Oh, I think I'll
I think we lost her.
Okay.
I am so sorry, guys. My internet is really unstable today. And I don't know if you guys can hear me well now, or
We can hear
you
you.
guys,
Yes,
is it clear?
yes, we
I
are
can
able
hear
to
you.
hear.
Yes,
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Let me share the screen
Screen
again.
isn't seen.
Where is it? Okay, let me share it. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a pin on this discussion here until I get a clear idea of how to explain this, and if I'm wrong, to also clarify that. If you guys are right, to point that out, and then we can do that tomorrow. But I left when I think it was Saima who was speaking. Saima Siddiqui, I think, was speaking, or I don't know what you were saying.
I was I maybe I was wrong, so I will stay quiet right now.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna change my internet for 1 second because I still I can't hear you guys properly. So hopefully. Okay. All right. So I think the biggest part of the confusion is from ikhtassa and min al-alfadi, what's that's doing there, and then the who, what that is doing there. But from there we have mimma. Maybe we can do this part and then move on. Okay.
I'll send a screenshot later, sometime over the weekend.
I don't know. I think I made it worse by changing the internet because I lost it. But I think I'm back now. Hopefully, it's just a few more minutes until we finish this. Okay. All right. So I was just saying we can pause this discussion of ikhtassa for a while until tomorrow, till I figure things out. Maybe we can do مما يدل على القصد. So subhanallah, I don't know what's happening today. I can just keep going in and out. I don't know if you guys can hear me now.
yes. Yeah.
Yes. Inshallah khair. Let's try one more time and see if it's going to be stable.
We are enjoying your sunset.
Subhanallah. Okay. All right, Saima, you can do the mimma part.
Okay. مما يدل على القصد الواضح في التعبير ومن ذلك أنه so mim حرف جر ما اسم موصول then يدل صلة الموصول يدل comes with على
Yes.
and على القضي والوادي. One question I have, Sister Lam, since this يدل it comes with على, so we will take it as a متعلق, or like how will do the Arab of على القصد الواحدي وعاده?
Yeah, it will still be متعلق. We'll say جر
It will still
مجرور
be
متعلق. Yeah.
And القصدي أن الوعده موصوف صفة. then في التعبير متعلق to يدل.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, which points towards the clear intention in expression, فمن ذلك أنه, and among from that or among that is that.
Yeah. So basically, this whole structure مما يدل all the way to التعبير is متعلق to اختص or what came before, right? Because ميم حرف جار, so this whole structure is متعلق to اختص. مما, like you said, حرف جار جار مجرور. دما is اسم موصول, so whatever comes after it is going to be صلة الموصول لا محل له من الإعراب, and inside that صلة الموصول is a جملة فعلية يدل is a فعل على القصد الواضح MBF1 في التعبير MBF2. I think that's a pretty straightforward. Whenever you have a verb that is married to something, the i'rab of it is still just going to be jar majrur. Yeah, just like here باستعمالات, we will say this is ba harf jar and استعمالات is the ism majrur and this is going to be jar majrur. So there's no distinction, like just because it is married to that verb, the harf of jar is married to that verb, it doesn't get a different i'rab. It's still jar majrur, still the same i'rab. The meaning could be different. Sometimes we don't even translate the harf of jar. Sometimes it translates into something totally different. Sometimes the harf of jar is translated in a different meaning. So for example, ala means on. We could translate it as with or something like that, some weird meaning like that, just because it is married to the harf. A good example of this is ata or ja'a. Ja'a means he came. Ja'a bi, he brought. Completely different meaning. We don't even translate the harf of jar. Yeah. So you see how harf of jar, sometimes it's translated, sometimes it's not even translated. Sometimes it's translated in a totally different meaning. So that's just verbs and the harf of jar that they are married to. Is that clear?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
So it says فَمِنْ ذَلِكَ أَنَّهُ, so he's giving an example of the distinctions of how these words have been distinguished in different usages, in specific special usages in the Quran, right? So he's going to give examples of that. فَمِنْ ذَلِكَ. Who do we have next? I think it was Fawzia.
Sister Ina,
Yeah, go on.
sorry to interrupt you. How to translate mimma? From what? No, how would you translate mimma?
A literal translation would be from what indicates like a clear goal or a clear objective, or you can just say what indicates. So this استعمالات خاص. Again, you see it's nakira بعدها الجملة, so this is going to be a sifa. So which indicates, you can say, or yeah, which indicates is good.
Okay. Which indicates. Okay.
Yeah.
And fasdil wade will be what? The clarity of the clear intentions, or
Clear goal, clear objective.
Clear objective. Okay. Okay.
An expression.
Also, I had a question. So if supposing we're not doing the outside doer after tafsiran, then minal alfaze bi-istimali fasatin bihi, all of this is mutallaq then. If supposing we don't do the outside doer that you will clarify tomorrow.
Yes, it will be muta'alliq.
Will they be mutallaq fragments because they're not falling into the same bucket?
Yes, it will be. Yeah, it will be jar majroor muta'alliq to something. So depending on the sentence, if it's jumla ismiya, muta'alliq to khabar. If it's jumla fi'aliya, muta'alliq to fi'al.
Right now they're all after iftasta, so they'll all be mutallaq to iftasta. So min
Yes.
al-alfazi bi-istimalatin khasatin would be 1, then bihi would be 2, then mimma would be ala yudulu ala khasat
Yes.
would be 3, and the kitabiri would be 4.
Yes.
Okay.
But في التعبيري look في التعبيري is different. في التعبيري and على is different because this is in the صلة الموصول bucket. It's not in the اختص bucket. This is not the فعل.
Yes.
The فعل is يدل.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
different.
So these two would be متعلق يدل.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Sister Ilhan, can you please translate this? It's mimma from which it indicates the clear objectives in expression. فمن
You
ذلك
cannot.
أنه. Then what
You
is
can even
that?
just.
What فمن ذلك أنه? How would we translate this? فمن ذلك أنه.
Oh, okay. So first of all, let's start with mimma. You can decide not to translate from the min. You can just say which. Or from which, it's also part of English, but it doesn't have a flow. From which. Like basically he's saying this استعمالات خاصة. This استعمالات indicates a particular specific clear goal, right? That's what he's saying. So it's a sifa, which. So you can just say which or from which a clear from which indicates a clear objective in expression.
So it في التعبير it is صفاته باستعمالات خاصة, right?
مما يدل from here, this sentence.
Okay. ومن
Sorry, yeah, sister, please go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying that ومن ذلك أنه. How would you translate that?
Okay, فمن ذلك, literal translation. So from that is, that's the literal translation. So he's giving examples. He's going to give examples of the specific. So he's told us that there's a certain words that have been distinguished, that have been specified, that have been utilized in a specific manner in the Quran to portray a certain goal. And some of these words are, فمن ذلك أنه, from that is the fact that he used الريح and so on and so forth. That's the literal translation. فمن ذلك أنه, from that is, so he's giving examples of the specific usage of how the words have been distinguished. Yeah.
Okay, Sister Hula, one question. Is it possible in the grammar for the Sifa and Mawsul have long distance relationship?
No.
So there's a
You cannot
there's
have.
a bihi so there's a bihi in between, right? So the relationship has been broken. Okay, Fasatan is Sifa number 1. So Mimma is Sifa number 2, but there's a bihi in between. So how will you take this Mimma as the Sifa of Istamala?
No, Sifa and Mawsuf, you can have long distance relationship, but Isim Mawsul and Silatul Mawsul, no long distance relationship. Like this whole thing.
No. Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean by the bihi. Khasa,
No,
bihi,
I mean,
this is a fragment. It comes together like that. Khasatin
so
bihi.
bihi is with khasa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, if I say
okay.
yeah. So if I give an example, what did we I don't like khasatan bihi. I can't think of an example of it, but it comes together like that. So you have khasatan and then you have khasatan bihi. So like we were learning in the Aramer program, they said we were learning about the traditional Arabic home, and they said that the traditional Arabic home has so many rooms, but one of the rooms is specific to guests. So khasatan bid-duyuf. That's how you would say that. غرفة واحدة خاصة بالضيوف. One room is specific for guests. So this is what the structure that is being used here. خاصة به or خاصة به or خاصة به. It changes depending on how. But خاصة without the bihi, that one is always going to be a مفعول مطلق or حال, depending on how you look at the i'rab. It will never change. It will always be nasab. But this one, it takes the i'rab because it's a sifa, or it could be a khabar, depending on how it comes in the sentence. Yeah. So I hope that clarified that. I didn't think this part would be this difficult. Honestly, I didn't even prepare much. I was like, because it, it sounded very easy in my head, but now I'm realizing there's quite a bit in just this one sentence, subhanAllah. Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. There's so much in here, packed. So the structure you just told us about, khasatan bihi, is a sifa, and because bihi comes with khasatan, right?
Yeah,
And
it comes
then,
together like that.
but the Arab is going to make it, bihi is going to become a mutallaq by Arab purposes. Am I thinking correctly?
Inside the khasa? Yeah, this is muta'alliq to khasa.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because khasatan is a sifa of bi'istimalatin, yes. Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's khasatin. But if it came as a khabar, it would be khasatun. If it came as a maf'ul bihi, to be khasatan. Not to be confused with khasatan. If I just say khasatan. Like this just means specifically. Khasatan, specifically. I like fruits, specifically apples. أحب الفواكه خاصة التفاح. Do you see the difference?
Getting
Yes,
there.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the file of yadullu is also istamalat.
No. This
No?
is, it's just huwa. This is huwa.
Then who is huwa?
It indicates. Like it's sometimes you just speak and you just put a pronoun it, from which indicates. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the special usage. The words which are used specifically, that indicates.
So this whole statement indicates. So instead of me saying this whole statement indicates, I'm just going to yadullu. It indicates. Huwa yadullu. Right? Like sometimes we don't even have, like, the pronoun doesn't have to go back to something. You know, that's a rule. Like we normally say the pronoun has to go back to something that came before. Not always. Not always. I could just come and say, this indicates like the deterioration of our society. What am I talking about? This indicates, like, probably I'm just saying that the situation we live in indicates the deterioration of our society, or of the moral fabric in our society. So sometimes we speak in generalization terms like that. It doesn't have to mean that the pronoun goes back to something else. Clear so far?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Okay. So it's already time, but I don't know if you guys want to continue, or do we stop there? I honestly don't know. We just did one line, subhanallah.
We can complete this page, right? There are ayahs only there.
Yeah, the last part is just an ayah.
Yeah, so I think we can. We should.
Okay. Okay, maybe we can go up to like 15 minutes. If let's see if up to here how much we will be able to cover, inshallah.
Okay, I'll read fast then.
Okay.
Okay. استعمال الرياح حيث وردت في القرآن. Where did you go?
What do you think? This is
Hello?
is it a verb or an ism?
It's a verb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a verb. He used الرياح
Yes.
حيث where
Mm-hmm.
وردت, again a verb. It came
Mm-hmm.
في القرآن الكريم, in the noble Quran.
Mm-hmm.
في الخير والرحمة, for good and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
واستعمال, and he used ريح الريح في شر والعقوبات. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
for evil and sanctions.
Yes.
And should I read on?
Yeah, you can read it because the ayah is just evidence, and then we can go back to the
Yeah.
i'rab.
Okay. قال تعالى وهو الذي يرسل الرياح بشرا بين يدي رحمته الأعراف وانظر الفرقان 48 والنمل 63.
Okay, good.
So the Arab so istamala is fail, and Riyah would be I guess call it maful because we're pointing to it. He said a Riyah. I don't know how what is the Arab of Haitu.
It's a harf.
Oh, good. All right. And then Waradat is again a fail. And then Fil Quran al-Kareem is Mutallaq to Waradat. And Fil Khairi wa Rahmati is Mutallaq to it's Mutallaq to Istamala, I think.
Fil Khairi?
Fil Khairi wa Rahmati is, oh, sorry, it's Jar Majroor with the Ataf in the middle. And it's Mutallaq to Istamala.
Okay. To استعماله في الخير والشر. There's a فعل here. وردت.
Yes. So would it go back? It came in the. So he used a riyah where it came in the Noble Quran for good and mercy. He used.
Yeah.
So I don't know how if it's going back to. Okay, it'll go back to Waradat then. Because we're talking about the word and where it came in the Quran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back to waradat. But why is waradat feminine?
Yeah, is feminine. Anything with air is feminine.
100%. Yeah. So he's saying istamala again. Riyah could be protected by the quotes, but in terms of i'rab, he used what? So this is going to be في محل نصب مفعول به of استعمل حيث وردت في القرآن, since it came or once it came in the Quran in goodness and mercy. Or so basically what he's saying is that the word riyah, specifically in the form that it comes in plural, riyah, it has been used for khair and rahmah. Okay, that's what he's saying. And واستعمل الريح. Go on.
I'm so sorry. Ista'amala, it is said in the Ista'amala, it says it is said in the Quran. It means, right? It is said in the Quran.
It is used.
Yeah, it is used in the Quran. It's indicating the Quran indirectly, right?
But it's not the passive, not ustu'mila, it's ista'mala. So the Quran used or it used.
It used.
Or,
okay, so
yeah, it used.
So it indicating the Quran, yeah.
Yes.
So it could also be talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He used.
Yeah. Or you can even make it passive and say ustu'mila. You can even make it passive and assume that nobody knows. But then, I mean, we know it's talking about the Quran. So the Quran used or Allah used. Yeah. It's the same thing. Yeah.
I think that would make more sense, don't you think, Sister Elam? Because it is again speaking like waradat. So like the riyah was used in such a way that whenever it comes in Quran, it comes in the terms of khair and rahmah. So I think if we keep it passive, the flow of the sentence sounds more, because riyah is in waradat also. So it is not switching gears.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that. You can make it passive. and
Okay.
waradat can remain ma'loom, it's fine. You
Hmm.
can say
Then the
استعمل الرياح.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then the other one that will also become passive then, following the same
No.
structure.
No,
No,
no. Waradat,
that
it has to be.
You can't say that Ria was used and Re was used in terms of Shar and Uquba.
So the thing is, it all depends on the meaning of waradat. Waradat means it came. What came? She came, riyah. So if you make it passive,
Yeah.
how would you say that she was come? Like, it doesn't make any sense to be passive.
No, I would say the word Ria was used.
No, but
And
waradat does
Re
not mean was used. See, I think this is, I think you need a lot of passive, and it confuses you a lot.
Mm.
Passive, active, and ta'diya and lazim really confuses a lot. So this is
Mm.
waradat. It means to
Mm.
come, or it was
Okay.
mentioned. So you can't make this passive.
No, this one is not passive. I'm talking about istahmala. If you
Yeah,
take first
istamala
one
can be.
passive, yeah, that's what I'm suggesting. In the first one, if it is passive, then the second istahmala at the end of this line will also be passive, right? Following the same structure.
Actually,
That's
Saima
what
has
I'm
a good
suggesting.
point here. Saima is saying it should be ustu'milat if it was passive. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yes,
It
so
cannot be istamala. It should be ustu'milat al-riyah,
May I know the
not
reason why
istamala.
say now?
Because
If it is
it would be the na'ibul fa'il. If you make this passive, istamala, it doesn't take now a maf'ul bihi, it takes a na'ibul fa'il, right? And the na'ibul fa'il is feminine. So it becomes ustu'milat al-riyah. The wind was used. So yeah, it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
as passive. It has to be active
okay.
in that sense. Good point, Saima.
no, actually, when it is passive, we don't know what is the doer, right?
But
So
it
we'll
can either
keep
be
it in the
huwa or
huwa
here.
form.
No, it can
It
be
can be
here.
huwa here. Okay.
Yeah.
It can be huwa and here. Okay.
Yeah. Because we know the na'ibul fa'il. So the verb would change according to the na'ibul fa'il. And in this case, if we're to say it's passive, then the na'ibul fa'il would be feminine. So it has to be ustu'milat. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty clear. Okay. Any other questions there? So after that, we have jar majroor, and then واستعمل الريح في الشر والعقوبات. And he used the word ريح. I like to say the word ريح because it's protected by the quotes. So I'm adding more words just to make the English make sense. So he used the word ريح في الشر والعقوبات in bad, in evil, I don't know, والعقوبات and punishment. I think this is pretty clear. So you have your فاعل, and of course this becomes, if it is protected by the quotes, but then it becomes a في محل نصب مفعول به, and then في الشر والعقوبات, this is a متعلق and this is معطوف. I think that's pretty straightforward. All right, قال تعالى, Allah said, وهو الذي يرسل الرياح. So he's giving an example of a case where the word الرياح has been used for khair and for rahmah and for such kind of things. So he quotes Surah Al-A'raf, and he also tells us to look at Surah Al-Furqan and Surah Al-Naml. So وهو الذي يرسل الرياح, he is the one who sent down الرياح بشرا بين يدي رحمته, as a glad tidings. That's the بشرى. بين يدي رحمته, from him, from his mercy that is with him. I know I'm doing a really terrible translation there. But yeah, you can check a proper translation for that. And then he's saying more evidence can be found in Surah Furqan and Surah An-Naml. All right. Okay.
Riyah is the plural of ri, right?
Yes.
Ah,
Riyah, Ariyah,
so
those are different pronouns.
yeah. Okay. So he is using the plural to give a vastness, right? For khair.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes. Exactly. And yeah, I noted that as well. And
Alhamdulillah.
it could be that he's using the plural for khair because he's referring to all kinds of winds. But when he uses the singular version, then it's one particular kind of wind. And that particular kind of wind is an evil wind, is a wind that brings destruction and, punishment. So that
Yeah.
evil kind of
Yeah.
wind is being referred to with evil and punishment because it's a specific kind of wind that does that, not all kinds of winds. So the plural is used for goodness and khair, and the singular is used for a particular, again, from the mercy of Allah. Yeah, subhanallah. Yeah. Yaday, how do you translate yaday? Hands. So both hands. Yaday, it's mudaf. So this is mudaf and then this is mudaf ilay. It was supposed to be yadayni. So this is, again, this is ظرف. This whole structure is متعلق بالخبر بالفعل because أرسل. Yeah. يرسل. So you have ظرف, then this is connected to that, and then this is a mudaf. That's why it's light. It was supposed to be yadaini, but we got rid of the noon, so we made it light. So it's a mudaf. Rahmati, mudaf ilay. Both hands. Where, yani in whose yaday rahmatihi, his mercy is in his hands, like something like that, because I'm really doing a bad translation again. Yeah, the rahmah of his hands, something like that. Yeah, go on.
Bushran, what do you, Bushran is a hal?
هو الذي يرسل الرياح بشرا, as, yes, it's a hal because it explains how.
Oh.
Or maybe you can even look at it as a مفعول به. Yeah, maybe you can look at it as a maf'ul bihi as well. But a hal makes more sense because how does he send the wind? As a glad tidings for you. Can you answer the question what? Yeah. He's the one who sends the winds. I don't know. But hal makes more sense. Any other questions?
The rest of the ayat, sifa of Bushra.
Sorry?
Baina yadayhi, is it the sifa of Bushra, like glad tidings, which are
Yes. Yes.
where?
It's a sifa. Yeah. Good observation. Yeah. Yeah, it could be something like that. I don't know, between the mercy of Isa. It's a very interesting structure that I haven't really looked on. So I don't want to translate it so much because I might be doing injustice to the ayah. Because again, I also don't understand what I understand what is happening, but how to translate it, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can finish off. I don't know if Sultana is still here. Okay. Go on, Samia.
So you can translate it as like, which is right from between his two hands of mercy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Between his two hands of mercy. Yeah, it's a very interesting structure. Alhamdulillah.
It's got more intimacy in it, right? Like he
Yeah.
could have
Oh, yeah.
simply said, "Bi rahmatihi," but it from his two hands of mercy shows more intimacy,
Absolutely.
like something you hold with love, and then you are giving it off to your.
It's like an embrace, isn't it? Like the wind is embracing you,
Yeah,
like the way you would
yeah,
embrace
yeah.
somebody, you cover them with
Yeah.
your hands. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Alhamdulillah.
Good observation, mashallah. Very nice. All right. Sultana, we can finish off the ayah. You just get to read ayat today. So Sultana, you there? Okay. I think Sultana might be busy. Maybe Fawzia, you can just finish it off.
وقال ومن آياته أن يرسل الرياح مبشرات وليذيقكم من رحمته الروم and في حين قال كمثل الريح فيها سر أصابت حرث قوم ظلموا أنفسهم فأهلكته. This is from Ali Imran.
Beautiful.
And he said, and his sign is that, and of his signs is that he sends the winds as bringers of good tidings and to let you taste his mercy.
Exactly.
At the same time, he said, and this is a half of a ayah here. So there's something before this. Like a wind, which is frost or frosty, it strikes and destroys the harvest of men who have wronged themselves and destroyed it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what's happening. It's just a ayat. So you notice now he's going to go into a section of comparing. So he's comparing riyah and rih. So when he gives evidence, so now he started with riyah and he gave evidence for riyah. He quoted Al-A'raf. He told us to look at Al-Furqan and Al-Naml, and he gave us also Ar-Rum. So he quoted some evidences for Ar-Riyah. Okay, when he switches to rih, or when he switches to describing something else, the opposite of what he's comparing to, he would say fi hinin or fi hina. Okay. This basically is telling you, okay, now I'm done discussing one section. Now I'm going to compare something else. So whereas, or how did you translate it, Fawzia? Because I think you translated like accurately, but it doesn't, in English, it comes off differently.
Yes, at the same time.
At the same time.
But it's
Yeah.
fihina. Right?
Yeah, so fihina means at the same time. That's exactly what it means. Fihina, fihinin. It means at the same time. But when you read it in English, you'd be confused, like at the same time. Like what? So in other words, he's just, oh, no problem, Sultana. It's fine. So he's just trying to do a comparison. He gave you the evidence for this, and now at the same time, he also said this. Okay, so that's what happens with fihinin. Normally, I like to translate as whereas, even though it doesn't mean whereas. It means at the same time. But whereas like gives you a comparison type of thing happening in your mind. Right. Did we discuss, have we done sirrun in Surah Al-Qamar? Did we discuss this word? I don't think so. Oh, you
No.
guys are not even, okay, sorry, I'm asking the wrong group.
Yeah, the wrong group.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, so basically this is, do you want us to look at the ayat? Or is there any questions there? Because he was just giving evidence to support his argument that rih is used for evil and punishment, and riyah is used for goodness and rahmah. And as you can see, when riyah was used here, we had rahmah. And riyah again was used here, you had rahmah. And here, rih was used, and he talked about like sirrun, like a freezing. Some say this has the meaning of cold, very freezing wind, or loud screeching, like you know when a tornado hits and it's so like that. Yeah, so it could be that. So it's asabat hartha qawmin. Basically, it came as a punishment when rih was used. Okay. Any questions?
We lost you. We can't hear. Breaking up.
Oh, subhanallah.
So rihun is again used as feminine, sister, here.
Yes, فيها. This is a sifa.
Actually, I was doing my asr. I thought of texting, but when it was getting late.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, today we took a bit long because of this part, اختص, which I wasn't even, subhanAllah, I didn't pay attention to it. Okay, I think we can end there, and tomorrow, inshallah, I will look into this word and come and explain it in a better way, inshallah. Okay, we can stop there.
Jazakallah
سبحانك اللهم
khairan. We look forward to it tomorrow.
وإياكم جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم guys.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
عليكم السلام.
So
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
one question before we end.